Did you know that by the time you finish this video, around 20 seniors will have been diagnosed with dementia? But here's the terrifying part. What if the cause isn't just aging, but what's inside your medicine cabinet? You've been told these pills are safe, routine, even essential. But new research is sounding the alarm. 99% of seniors have no idea that at least one medication they're taking could be shrinking key memory centers in their brain. The pharmaceutical industry has known about these risks for decades, yet they profit billions from selling the same drugs that may be accelerating cognitive decline in millions of seniors. In this video, we'll reveal the 9 most dangerous medications triggering rapid memory loss and dementia, ranked from commonly ignored to mind-destroying. And number 3 on our list? It's prescribed to millions for something harmless, but it can shrink key memory centers in your brain, and you probably have no clue it's doing it. Before we dive in, let me know in the comments, what medications are you taking daily? And have you ever felt sudden brain fog or forgetfulness? We're reading every comment and replying with personalized insights. Don't stay silent. This could save your mind. Okay, that was a lot to take in. My name is John, and as a community pharmacist, my goal isn't to cause alarm, but to bring clarity to the confusion and put the power of knowledge back in your hands. Let's look at these not as dangers, but as common hurdles we can learn to navigate together. This reminds me of my client, Eleanor, a retired art teacher who was always so vibrant, but started feeling like she was losing her colors. Now, many of us reach for allergy medicine, sleep aids, or heartburn pills because they're available and seem safe. Eleanor did too. She thought, if I can buy it without a prescription, it must be gentle on my body. The challenge here is what I call the silent side effect. Some over-the-counter medicines like Benadryl work a bit like dimming certain connections in your brain to help you sleep. Over time, this dimming can become more permanent than we'd like. Think of it this way. Your brain is like a beautiful, well-lit house at night. Benadryl is like slowly turning down the dimmer switches. One night, that's fine. But month after month, some of those lights might forget how to turn back on. Meanwhile, heartburn medications like Prilosec work like building a gentle wall in your stomach to block acid. But sometimes, that wall also blocks important vitamins your brain needs, especially B12. It's like accidentally blocking the mailman from delivering important letters to your mind. Eleanor was taking Benadryl to sleep and Prilosec for her heartburn. She started forgetting the names of paint colors she'd used for years. Colors like burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, words that had been her daily vocabulary. She thought it was just getting older and never imagined that 2 harmless pills could be connected to her frustration. But here's the hopeful news. Smart substitutions can make all the difference. For allergies, there are non-drowsy options like Claritin that don't dim those brain connections. For sleep, melatonin can be a gentler companion that works with your body's natural rhythm instead of against it. And for heartburn? Sometimes a small adjustment in what we eat or when we eat it can help. Or perhaps a lighter medication like Pepcid, which doesn't build as strong a wall, might be all you need. The key is having a conversation. Not a lecture from a doctor, but a real conversation with your pharmacist. Someone who can look at your whole picture and say, let's see if we can find something that works just as well, but treats your brain a little kinder. Now, let's talk about medications we trust, because our doctors prescribe them for common concerns like bladder control or high cholesterol. The challenge here is what I call the unexpected trade-off. These medications do exactly what they're supposed to do. But sometimes, they're working a little too hard in places we didn't expect. Bladder control medications like Ditropan work much like Benadryl, slowing down your brain's internet connection to give your bladder more control. It's effective, but that slower internet affects more than just your bladder. And statins for cholesterol? Well, your brain is made largely of healthy fats. Think of a statin like an overly enthusiastic gardener. They're wonderful at cutting away the bad weeds, that harmful cholesterol. But sometimes they also trim away some of the beautiful flowers your brain needs to stay sharp and colorful. Eleanor's doctor prescribed Ditropan for her bladder and a strong statin for her cholesterol. Both made perfect sense on paper. But Eleanor noticed she wasn't just forgetting paint colors anymore. She started getting lost driving to her familiar art studio, a route she'd taken twice a week for 15 years. The creativity and confidence she'd always carried began to fade, like watercolors bleeding into gray. She called me one afternoon, her voice quiet and confused. "John," she said, "I feel like I'm disappearing a little bit each day. Is this just what happens when you get older?" I assured her it didn't have to be. This is where an important conversation with your doctor becomes essential. It's not about stopping medications that are helping you. It's about exploring if there might be gentler options. For bladder control, there are newer medications like Myrbetriq that work differently. They don't slow down your brain's internet to help your bladder. And for cholesterol, some statins are less likely to cross into your brain. Sometimes, a small adjustment in dosage or switching to a different type can make a world of difference. Your doctor prescribed these medications because they care about your health. But they also want to know if something isn't working well for you. They have options you might not know about. The goal isn't to live with high cholesterol or bladder problems. The goal is finding the right medication that takes care of your body without asking your mind to pay too high a price. Eleanor's story didn't end with confusion and lost creativity. But to tell you what happened next, I need to share the third challenge, one that's often the hardest to talk about. When we feel anxious, sad, or struggle to sleep, we reach out for help. And that's exactly what we should do. Taking care of our mental health is just as important as taking care of our heart or our blood pressure. But sometimes, the solutions can carry hidden costs that nobody warned us about. The challenge here is what I call the unintended pause button. Medications like Xanax work like pressing a gentle pause button on your brain's worry center. For short periods, this can be incredibly helpful, like giving yourself permission to breathe during a difficult time. But if that pause button stays pressed for too long, your brain can have trouble remembering how to unpause on its own. Some older antidepressants like Elavil, or even some newer ones like Paxil, can have those same anticholinergic effects we talked about with Benadryl. They can dim those important brain connections while they're trying to help you feel better. And sometimes, antipsychotic medications are used off-label for sleep or agitation. While they can be life-saving for the right conditions, they can sometimes leave your mind feeling flattened or slowed down in ways that don't feel like you. To help with her growing anxiety about her memory, Eleanor's doctor prescribed a low dose of Xanax. The intention was kind, to give her some relief while they figured out what was happening. But instead of feeling better, Eleanor felt hollow. She described it like this: "John, it's like someone turned down the volume on my whole life. I can't focus on my paintings anymore. I feel like I'm watching myself disappear." She wasn't just losing her memory now. She was losing herself. Here's what I want you to know. Your mental health matters tremendously. The solution isn't to avoid getting help. The solution is working with your doctor to find the approach that feels most like you. There are many modern, safer antidepressants available. There are therapies that can be powerful tools alongside or sometimes instead of medications. The goal is finding peace without sacrificing clarity. Finding calm without losing creativity. Finding relief without losing yourself. Mental health is a journey, not a destination. And you deserve to take that journey with your mind as clear and vibrant as possible. So what did Eleanor do? She didn't stop her medication suddenly. That would have been dangerous. Instead, she did something brave. She scheduled what we call a medication review, with both her doctor and me, her pharmacist. She brought a list of everything she was taking, including vitamins and over-the-counter medications. She also brought something else, a small notebook where she'd been writing down how she felt each day. "I want to feel like myself again," she told us. "But I also want to be safe and healthy. Can we find a middle path?" The first month. We started with one small step, switching her Benadryl to Claritin and reducing her Prilosec dose slowly. Eleanor called me after 2 weeks. "John," she said, "I don't see huge changes yet, but I feel a little lighter somehow, like there's less fog in the morning." The second month. Next, her doctor carefully transitioned her from Xanax to a different anti-anxiety medication that doesn't cause drowsiness. They also switched her statin to one that's safer for the brain. This time, Eleanor's call was more excited. I found my way to the art studio without my GPS for the first time in months. And John, I remembered that burnt sienna is the perfect color for autumn leaves. The third month. Finally, we found a replacement for her ditropan, a newer medication that helped her bladder without slowing down her mind. After a few months, Eleanor came to my pharmacy with something special, a new painting. It was a landscape with incredible detail and vibrant colors, deep blues, warm golds, and yes, that perfect burnt sienna for the autumn leaves. The colors came back, John, she said, her eyes bright with tears of relief. I feel like myself again. But Eleanor's success wasn't just about changing medications. She also started taking short walks, began a gentle meditation practice, and joined a painting group at the senior center. She learned that healing her mind meant caring for her whole self. The expert's summary. Eleanor's story shows us the power of asking questions and seeking alternatives. She didn't have to choose between her physical health and her mental clarity. She found a path that honored both. The challenges we discussed, the over-the-counter burden, the common prescription burden, and the mental health medication burden, they're all manageable when we approach them with patience and good information. Always remember, there's usually more than one solution to any health concern. Your job isn't to become a doctor or pharmacist. Your job is to be an advocate for yourself, to speak up when something doesn't feel right, and to ask if there might be other options. Don't ever assume that feeling confused, forgetful, or unlike yourself is just part of getting older. Your mind deserves the same care and attention as your heart, your bones, or any other part of your precious body. Your health isn't a list of rules you have to follow. It's a conversation between you, your body, and your healthcare team. I have an invitation for you. Take one step this week, just one. Maybe it's simply writing down all the medications you're currently taking, both prescription and over-the-counter. Include those vitamins and supplements too. Or maybe it's calling to schedule a medication review appointment. You can say, I'd like to go over all my medications and make sure they're still the best choices for me. Maybe it's just having an honest conversation with your doctor about how you've been feeling. You might say, I've noticed some changes in my thinking, and I'm wondering if any of my medications could be connected. Just one step, that's all. Remember, medication-related memory problems can often be improved. You have more control than you might think. Much more. You're not a diagnosis. You're not a collection of symptoms. You're a whole person with a history, dreams, talents, and people who love you. You deserve to feel clear, capable, and like yourself. Some changes in memory are a normal part of getting older. Forgetting where you put your keys sometimes, or taking a moment to remember a name. But significant confusion, getting lost in familiar places, or feeling like you're disappearing, those aren't normal, and they're not something you have to accept. Trust yourself. Listen to your body. Ask questions. Seek answers. And be gentle with yourself through the process. Thank you for taking time to care for your health today. Thank you for caring enough about yourself to learn something new. And thank you for being here. I'm John from Oak Lane Wellness Clinic. Keep asking questions. Keep seeking answers. And keep living well. Your mind is precious. Your health is important. And you matter.